Okay, so before that I did not enable the setting for recording, so now it's enabled. The recording is enabled, so we'll just wait for others to join in for a minute. So by the time others are joining in, any questions on yesterday's session? I think Hive is pretty easy. It's much related to SQL concepts, so there won't be any issues in understanding the Hive part.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking good. The only thing is we need to know why we are using some keywords that you said you will talk about it.
Keywords
how did you use the split, and there was some other command with that, exploded.
Okay.
So you
Split. Okay, let me explain that first. Okay, sure. I'll just explain it in a minute. Hi, Amish.
Okay. Have you started the recording? Okay.
Yes, I have started now. Hi, Amish.
Hey, Miraj.
Good morning. So I have to disconnect the session because the recording settings was disabled. So to enable them, I have to close this GoToMeeting. So okay. So Karthik was saying I have to explain this thing, the query. Hi, Rajesh.
Hi, Miraj.
Okay. So Karthik was asking to understand this query again. So let me explain this again back to you. And any other questions anyone has from the last from the yesterday's session? I will explain this thing again. Lateral view and explore. I'll explain it on the Excel sheet so that will make it more clear. Okay. So okay. So I hope you can see my Excel sheet. All right, everyone. So this is the query. Basically, it's divided into three parts. Okay. So just a minute. Let me make it. Okay. So this is the query. This is divided into three parts, and these are the three parts of the query, right? So what we did is, so I'm explaining the query which we did for word count. Let me explain it in detail. So before that, let me tell you a few more things. I just wanted to tell you those things before going into this. So there are functions in Hive which you can use, or you can create your own functions. Those are called UDFs, user-defined functions. So you can write your own functions in Java or any scripting language. You can add them to the Hive and you can. So UDF will look in today's session, and I'll also show you some functions which are there in Hive. But let me explain you this thing. So what we are doing over here. So what we did is we selected it from table. From table name doc was the table which we created yesterday, right? This part is clear. Select star from select star word count star from doc. This part of the query is clear to everyone, right?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. And so what we are doing in this lateral view explode is a function which is available in the Hive. So what we are doing is we are saying explode what has been given to this function and explored by the criteria of by what my text is splitting. So I am splitting my text based on space. So here the text is the column name of this table doc. If you remember in the table doc we had a column called text. If I show you that thing.
Yes, we remember that.
Yeah, sure. So I am passing the column name of this table doc. There was no column name of type word in the table doc. So I am passing the column name text in this function, and I am splitting it based on space. So there were two rows in this table. One was hi, I love hi, something like this, and another row was it's hi. So these are the two rows which will be passed to this function one by one. What this function will do, it explode, and lateral view what will do is it will explode it, basically the split will split it on spaces, and explode will convert the each returned object into a row. So it will return a row something like this. And the rows which are the columns which are converted to rows, we are giving this table as a name as a word. So what I'm saying is group by word, and I'm counting those words. I've now grouped them by word, and I'm counting those things and printing the each word. So this is how I am getting the word count. So it will group it by word. Here there are they are all the unique words. So if there would have been some similar words, it would have been grouped by that word, and the count would have been increased to 2. So that is what I'm doing over there.
Okay, so in a regular SQL, we do from the table, and then the column has to be from the table, right? In this case, the table has text as the column, but you are creating a lateral view as a virtual table with the column as word.
Yeah. So this is a special function which I've used of Hive. You would be rarely using it when you are doing some peculiar kind of things like what we did over here. But this is what we are doing over here. We are creating a lateral view, and explode is basically converting those things to rows.
Okay. And the L table is a keyword, or is it a?
No, these are again I table is not a keyword. This is again a name which I have given to this. You can
Okay.
give it any name.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions from the yesterday's session? And one more thing, I think someone asked me yesterday in the PPT, what do you call that? Sequence file that record length is 4. Record length is 4. So I cross-checked that part whether that's wrong in the PPT. That was correct in the PPT. What was pointed over there is the length of that particular field. So that is always 4 characters, and that contains the record length of the record. But that length, which is basically storing that length, is of 4 bits. So that is what was mentioned over there. Can you recall, or shall I open that PPT again?
No, I think we remember that sequence file, right? Compression and
yeah. So that 4 was the length of that particular field which was storing the length. So that will always be 4. That is what was pointed over there. Okay. So any other thing before we go ahead? We discussed partitions. We discussed external table, internal table. We discussed the delimiters. We discussed partition, dynamic we did not. We discussed the dynamic partitions as well. We discussed the survey, desurvey. We discussed alter tables. We discussed yeah, I think we stopped somewhere here, right? Yeah. So, okay, I was saying you clustered via. So we have not discussed the clustered by or bucketing concept. So let me go back to the Excel sheet again to explain this thing. Although I think you would be aware of those things, but let me recall your memories. So there are 2 concepts which are highly used when you are using Hive, and one is partitioning. Again, I think the spelling is wrong. Sorry for that. And bucket. So partitioning, you will be partitioning your data on a column or a group of columns. The way data is getting inputted into your system, or the way data is coming into your system. Say you are getting a data of stock market or exchange or some trades which are happening on the stock market. So data which you will be getting is something like this: stock, the trade date, open value, close value, and number of things. And the important thing is exchange. Okay. So what you might be doing with this data is you might be partitioning on the trade date, so that whenever you want to search for any particular stock history or do some analysis on the stock trade data, you can directly go to that folder and look into the trade data. So practically your data would have been stored something like this. Your top level, that is stocks table. Then your data would be partitioned based on trade date. And what you could have done is, rather than partitioning it directly on the trade date, you might have partitioned at 3 levels, like trade date year is equals to 2015, and inside trade date year there will be month is equals to 4, month is equals to 3, and so on. And inside these months you again would have been partitioned it further based on day is equals to 1, and so on. So you might have applied 3-level partitioning based on your requirement, but this will give you further on, because your daily trade data might be in GBs. So in that case, you could have think of this kind of hierarchy, or you can directly use the trade data as a partition. But in that case, the number of folders created at the top level would be too high. And later on, if you want to archive just the last year data, that will be little difficult for you. You have to archive 365 partitions. So, but if you put your data partition something like this, or later on archiving or removal of the partitions, or using up some particular year as a partition, those will be easier. Let's say I have to do analysis of 1 month's data. There I have to use 31 partitions I have to supply to my warehouse. But here I have to just supply the month as 4, and all of the partitions inside this month would be automatically available for me. So this is a benefit which you will get over that if you partition on the date. Rather than dividing it on the year, month, and day. So this is the first thing what you will be dividing your data or partitioning your data based on your criteria. I'm just giving you some example. Next thing what you will be doing on the data is you will be bucketing your data to make your queries much more faster. So I hope you people understand the concept of bucketing. Anyone understand the concept of bucketing? Today we are missing one person. Karthik is there. Basha is not there.
Yeah, Basha is missing.
Oh. Anyone understand the concept of bucketing?
No.
Okay, fair enough, not a problem. So next kind of optimization while storing the data will be doing is bucketing. What is bucketing now? So bucketing is nothing but you bucket your files to the corresponding hash keys of the column on which you are bucketing. So say I'm bucketing my data on the stock name. So say my file has stock names as something like this: Reliance, Infi, TCS, Dell, Wipro, and so on. So I say my data would be bucketed into say 256 buckets. So there will be 266 unique hash buckets which will be created out of all the stock values there in my data. and your stock values will be definitely pointing to one of the buckets out of those 256 buckets. So say Reliance is pointing to the first bucket, Invis is pointing to the 15th bucket, Dell is pointing to the 256th bucket, Wipro is pointing to say 34th bucket, and so on. So there will be always 256 files inside your deepest partition. So here my deepest partition is trade date. So here there will be 256 files. Some files might be empty out of those 256 files based on the criteria that some of the stock names might not be aligned to any of the buckets which are or the bucket criteria which for which the file is. But definitely there will always be 256 files if I'm bucketing my data on 250 with a bucket value of 256, and similarly for other trade dates also. So here also there will be 256 files and so on. So each day there will be 256 files which will be created inside my deepest partition, and 256, and the data is divided into those 256 files based on the stock name for which the data is. So all the Reliance trade related data would be available in the file number 1, and similarly say Wipro's, but Wipro is also lying to the bucket based on the hash value of the Wipro stock code as 1. So Wipro and Reliance, all the data related to these stuffs would be available in file number 1. So when I'm doing joining between two different days, so say I'm doing some analysis and I want to figure out some joining based on the stock date on first of April 2015 and 2nd of April 2015. In that case, I'll be just joining two small files, which is the file 1 of this of this date and the file 1 of this date, rather than joining the whole file of which would be 256 times heavier of these two dates. So this is the benefit which you get if you bucket your data further on based on partitions. Someone was asking something.
So yeah, I have a question. So the whole point of using Hadoop file system is because you want to have big files, right? By doing all this, you will end up with 256 very small files.
Okay.
Isn't it counterintuitive to use Hadoop?
Okay. I think you again raised a good point. So Karthik, what we are doing over here is I am bucketing my data only based on the criteria that my data for each trade day is in GBs or more than GBs, or basically huge data. That's the reason I'm partitioning my data. I am not partitioning my data if my data for each trade day is just few MBs or things like that. And when my data is in GBs on each day, the trade data for a stock exchange is always 5 to 10 GBs each day kind of. If you give each trade what has happened on the stock exchange to do the analysis, your data might be 5 to 10 GBs. So you are dividing your data on each day. So you are not using petabyte of file. That definitely yes. But how that concept is coming, I'm just explaining that. Moreover, why I'm bucketing this data is now I have to do some analysis on this data. So although my data is coming, but what my data came to as a. So this is my Hadoop system, and your file came to the Hadoop system on that is 2014.04.01.zip. That is say 5 GBs compressed. Now I have got this file. Now I have to do some analysis on that file, and this analysis I don't have to do one-time analysis. I have to store this data, and this analysis might be done for several different use cases. Daily my business users might be coming to my system and doing some analysis on my data. So if I put this as a single zip file, what I'm doing is although my Hadoop system will be processing it, but when the joins are applied to the queries, those will be slower up. So what I'm saying over here is, if you want to do some single analysis, it does not make sense to partition your data or bucket your data. You have to do just one join, and that's all your purpose to pushing the data. But if your purpose to pushing the data to the Hadoop ecosystem is to create some data warehouse, which could be used for not only the one-time analysis but going on analysis, as well as the data could be used by your business analyst to look into the data, or the data would be looked by your tools like Tableau or Looker give a realistic view of your data. In that cases, these kind of things would make sense to do on your data, so that your lookups on the data are faster and the joins between different data sets are faster. If you are doing a single, if you are using this data and just doing one-time query, in that case, I would not suggest to partition the data or bucket the data, because you would be unnecessarily wasting your processing power of the system to partition or bucket the data, and you will not get that advantage what you will get for just one-time processing.
So okay, so based on each specific use case, you identify whether that data is going to be used by multiple people, and you have to take into consideration all the actual use cases, and then create the Hive table based on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have to do one-time analysis rather than creating Hive tables, Pig would be sounding more interesting to you. There you don't have to do all those things. You don't have to even create the schema. Pig can by the help of Pig, you can create dynamic schemas on the fly and do the data processing. So for one-time processing, or some data which is semi-structured or unstructured kind of data, Pig is more powerful and useful. But you would be using Hive morely on the data which is coming to a system daily or kind of thing, or you have to create a kind of a warehouse on top of your data, or you have to do daily queries or joins on your data, which is not only the today's data join, which might be requiring the join with historical data as well, and these kind of things are running daily in the system. So although Hadoop is an ecosystem which helps you to process bigger files or big data sets, but practically you will not be using the ecosystem to do the data processing only once. You would be pushing in the data to this ecosystem. You would be creating data lake kind of architectures in your system, and those data lake you would be using up to do different analysis.
Hey Miraj, I understand the concept of partition, like you did the year, month, and the date. So basically, whenever the stock code coming in, we basically push it into different buckets of this partition key, and that will go into different folders. I'm not very clear on the 256 buckets. What is it based on?
So 256, I just took a random number. Again, you have to decide the number of buckets based on your data size, based on the way you think
when you say 256 buckets, is it actually within each partitions that you're dividing that into 256 segments?
Yeah. So this
what is it?
Yeah. So this is a top level partition. Inside that there are partitions for each month. So there will be 12 partitions, so on. And inside this partition there will be again. So this is a top level folder. Inside this folder there are 12 folders. Inside this folder there are 31 folders. Or there's April month 30 folders. And inside this folder there are 256 files which are named something like this. 00000 underscore 0 000 underscore 1 0000 underscore 2 and so on.
So Umesh, I think it's based similar to what we have in hash table, right? So
yeah, hash table. So you basically hash code the key or the data on which you want to bucket, and based on that hash value of the key, it goes to the corresponding file. So there will be two files.
And based on the number of files you select, you do a modulus on that hash code with that number, and then you end up with that many files, right?
So basically these are all 0, 1, 2, 3 is all the files within that folder of which actually is a partition.
Yeah. Yeah, so your data is not only divided into folders, your data at the deepest root or the leaf folder or the leaf partition, your data is divided into the files also. So that your joins.
Okay. So basically sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, basically you're saying is the bucket is nothing but the file which actually is qualified for that particular hash key and of the partition.
Yeah, and the hash key of the same stock in this partition will always be same what it was there in this partition. So when I have to join the two stocks, I'll be just choosing those two corresponding files only and doing the join. So my joins will be much faster.
So if you know that there are some buckets and partitions created for the Hive table, internal or external, you want to use those to efficiently run the query.
Yes, and that's the reason if you can recall, yesterday I told you by default the partitioning mode is strict and we disabled it to run the query. Otherwise, if the table is partitioned and if you try to do a where clause in the table, the default setting is Hive will give an error if you have not used the partition in your where clause.
But considering the magnitude of the data or stocks, right? Like I'm just thinking of the use case in my mind, right? How would you actually even know? Like I understand the technicality of splitting into smaller segments for faster retrievals and joins and things like that, but you need to know that facts to make that join, right? Know what I'm trying to say? It's like how would you actually envision that this join actually is going to be better? Because I understand from the point of partitioning, I can go and say get me everything between month 4 and month 5 because that's actually based on partition key. Right now we are going to one level granular details, which is the file level to do the joins, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But you may not know the sensitivity of the data, like how much, unless you go and look at it, right?
Sorry, Yogesh, could you rephrase? I am not able to get it out.
I think his question is, how do you foresee that this is what the criteria is that you want to design, right? I think the answer, would be, Umesh, you try to evolve. So first you just create a flat table structure, and then once you find that there is like a lot of data and you want to segregate, because based on the number of queries that are getting run, based on some particular condition, you want to split it into partitions, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So you keep evolving the table based on that.
No, but I don't know. I've not seen how the join is being made. Because you say like join done on the last like 0, 1, and 2, right? Like on the file level. So what is the syntax of the join in Hadoop? Is it similar to
similar to RDBMS, inner join, outer join, full auto joins. I will cover that thing. It's same inner join, outer join. So okay. Let me give you an example. Just a sec. I got your confusion. Just give me a minute. Let me clear your confusion. I got a point. What you're saying. Now I got a point. So okay. So I have this table as a stock table. Okay, and this stock table is, I've just requested to go on mute. The stock table is in yellow color right now, and another table is, say, dividend. And the dividend data would be the dividend, that is a dividend paid by the stocks. So a stock might be paying dividend, once a quarter or once a year. So that data would be of very, very less size as compared to the trade data. So I would not like to partition this data based on each day. I could think of partitioning data based on year max to max. So let's say I have a partition it on year, that is the dividend over year is equals to 2015, and after that I have to bucket this data. Why? I just come to that point, and after that my data is bucketed into 256 files based on the stock value. So I have bucketed my data on 256 files, and this is my dividend table, which is highlighted in the green color. Now say my business use case is I have to figure out the average traded value of stocks which paid me the max dividend. So now I have to join table dividend and the stock table. And when I have to join the table dividend, the stock table, you can think of the file system IOs which this table, which could have been done if my data is not properly bucketed and partitioned. But if my data is properly bucketed in partitions, I know that the stock which are given me the highest dividend is lying in this file. The hash value of this, I have to join this file with the corresponding files of these tables. So this is where the join will come up. If you do an inner join or a join inside the table with itself, then these files will be joined up. But if you're doing the join between two tables, this is how the bucketing would help you. Not only bucketing, the partitioning would also help you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think.
I still some doubt.
No, I think we'll see some examples. I think we'll go forward, right? I think, yeah, I think I understand. Basically, you're looking at the files, and then you're going to
say the total size of this folder might be say 3 GB across the year. I'm just taking some weird example, and the total file of this whole folder, including all the inner folders, would be so 1.8 approximately terabytes data. I have to merge with 3 GB of the data. You can think the complexity what will happen at the backend. But now I am just what I'm doing is probably I am just joining probably this would be divided into 65 folders probably. Approximately 5 GB of the data with 3 GB of the data. You can think of how fast my joins would work up at the back end, how fast my queries would run.
Yeah, I see the benefit. Basically, you're kind of like splitting the whole thing into smaller buckets, and then you're comparing the smaller buckets for the join conditions. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, let me switch back to the PPT. Okay. So here what I'm doing is okay. This is not the so this is how you bucket your data. So the syntax is alter the table, but this is the same way you will be using in the main table also, clustered by and the corresponding column or columns on which you want to cluster it. So
cluster is equivalent to partitioning?
No. Clustered is not equal to partitioning. This is where I'm creating the bucket. Partitioning is a different concept, and clustered by I'll explain.
Okay.
In two buckets is the 256 I explained to you. 256 buckets, right? Which I just explained to you. Let me show you an example. Is there an example of So this is what we are doing over here. The buckets is the 4 buckets will be created, and the data would be divided into 4 files over here. So that is what we are doing over here, clustered by a symbol into 4 buckets. So my data is divided into 4 different clusters based on the symbol, that is the stock name, into 4 files. So my data will be stored into 4 files. Let me run this thing, create table, and okay. So what I'm doing is over here I'm creating this table, and then later on I'm inserting data into this table as a select from the stocks table. So if you run this thing, wait, let me run -c, and
-f or -e?
-e is to give the query on the run. I thought I copied it, and I was given the file. Sorry. So this will create this table which will always contain 4 files. This table is not partitioned. I could have partitioned it also, but right now this table is not partitioned. But this will contain 4 files, and your data would be divided based on the stocks into 4 files, and some of the files might not have the data also. But your particular stock will be lying in a particular file only. So that is what your data would be clustered up into 4 different files, and that is the concept which you call buckets. So where is this table? Okay, I have not given the location, so it will be created at the default location. So actually Hadoop as an ecosystem you would not be using for one-time, one-time data processing. So this is an ecosystem which for the POC kind of thing you might be using it for one-time data processing. But practically you would be using the ecosystem to do the, daily data processing kind of things, or doing some analysis, regular analysis, kind of predictive analysis, or some machine learning on your data or things like that. So in those cases, you have to think of priorly while before designing your system, how you want to push in the data, how you want to keep your data, and how you want to all this bucketing, clustering, and number of things how you want to do in your data, how you want to archive your data and things like that. And based on that, only your daily jobs will be running on your cluster, which will be doing all this processing for you. So practically, from your client or from your company, you will be creating a cluster for particular use cases or for analysis kind of things. As I discussed in the first class, people are using this cluster for analysis or daily processing and things like that. So they are getting the data daily in the system, and they are doing analysis with the today's data, and they might be joining or marrying it with historical data to come up with different analytics, and they might be doing a number of things. So you have to think of priorly, you have to design the system in such a fashion that your data is reusable as well as your retrievals are much faster as much as possible based on your daily criteria. So although my final project would make you think in all those different things. What is the table name? What is the table name? What is the table? Where is it gone? So I'm just looking at the directory app. Hi, what is it? Table not. Okay. So by default, it will go to the default database only. If you don't give any database, it always starts from the default database. So I've decided to use DP as a database and then look for this table. So this is the location. You see there are 4 files created. Plus minus cat. And some file will have data for some stock, some file will have data. So this file have data only for Reliance stock. Okay, so here we are again some commands for alter table. Okay, har file is not much used in the ecosystem, but har file is not much used in the ecosystem, but this is a concept which is available for you. So har is basically if you are creating a lot of partitions on each day, or you're bucketing your data on large number of files. So as I told you in one of the classes that Hadoop is an ecosystem which is created for bigger files rather than small files. So you are unnecessarily overpopulating your name node, which the name nodes work by creating smaller files, and your name node might end up storing a lot of metadata for your smaller files. So HAR is the concept by which HAR will not basically archive your data, but it will create a single file out of the smaller files. So you might create HAR out of your bigger partitions. So for older partitions of last years or last years, you might create HAR files, and whenever you want to use them, you have to just unhar them. But HAR files do not really compress your data; they just make your n number of files into a single file. Technically, nothing changes the file system, but the way it's represented as a HAR file, and the name node responsibility decreases at that point of time.
So it's equivalent to unpartitioning it, basically.
No, I'm not practically unpartitioning it or doing anything. This HAR is a concept of Hadoop only. So this only basically, if you zip a folder, top level folder, you have all the folders inside it in the same hierarchy and same way. And when you unzip it, you will again get the same hierarchy and same files, right? So same way,
Right.
HAR is the concept to where you can HAR up top level folder or top level partition, and in that way. So here I'm archiving the partition at date level, but you can archive it at any level. So that will reduce the name node complexity to remember all those 365 into 255 files. 365 number of days and 265 files for each day.
Okay.
To a single HAR file.
Okay. So once you archive it, will you be still able to use it in the queries, or you have to unarchive to use it?
Archived HAR, I am not sure. By default, it will read. Probably it would read. But if you archive it with the gzip or anything like that, it will read it automatically. HAR, I have not personally tried it, but I think it will do, because it does for gzip, bzip by default. So HAR it should also do. So, but here I am not compressing the data. That is the difference which I wanted to highlight. So you can again you raise a good point. You can archive your individual partitions. Not only HAR, you can also archive your individual compress your individual partitions, and you can enable compression on some partitions, and do not compress the data of other partitions. But in that case, I will take care for you. But ensure that if you are compressing some partition, you are not compressing it year equals to 2004 folder. You are compressing the real files, because in that case, Hive has a partition column value on the folder name only. So if I compress the folder name, that would I am not sure how that will behave. I have to compress the files so that I will just go inside that folder or the partition name, and then can read that compressed data. Okay, so again, alter table, enable not drop will basically enable that the partition cannot be dropped. Enable offline. So say your queries are running upon your table and your older data is also lying in your different partitions. Now I don't want to look into the data for the joins which I'm doing. So I make that partition enable offline. That will the files will remain in the file system, but that will not be read when you are doing any query on the table. Okay. So load data in path, I think we use in the first PPT also. So load data in path basically loads your data into so here what I'm doing is load data local in path, override into table employees, partition country USCA. So of table employees, I am overwriting the partition US. Inside that partition US state California. So I am overwriting. Overwrite is a keyword which tells that overwrite the data. Whatsoever data lying in this folder, delete it and overwrite it with the data which has been passed to this query. So override is a keyword for that, and load data local in path. Basically, that will load your data into that corresponding table employees, into that corresponding partition USCA. And override.
So quick question.
Yeah.
So if you don't give override, will it append to the existing data, or
yes.
it will fail?
Then you have to give insert into. Rather than override, we will give insert into. So then it will append it.
Okay.
And this is the difference. The load data local copies the local data to the final location in the distributed file system, while load data without local, without local as a keyword in path, moves the data from one of the given LGFS location to the final location. Local means your data is lying somewhere locally. So your local is a keyword which will be using up when your data is lying somewhere locally on your system. Without local, in that case, it will assume that data is need to be copied from one LGFS location to another location. So this is this keyword local. So insert override, I just talked about that. Override will overwrite it, otherwise into will append it. Okay. Dynamic partitioning. So although we talked about this yesterday a little bit, but let me recall that thing. So here what I'm doing is insert override table employees partition country state. So I'm overwriting all the partitions country and state based on the output of the blow query, that is select something from something table. So here your country and the state partition which need to be overwritten would be chosen on the fly based on the query which is there, which is this query. So my partitions would be decided dynamically on the run. However, if I've given this query something like this, country is equals to US and state is equals to CA. In that case, I am not using dynamic partitioning, I am using static partitioning, and in that case only one partition of my table would be updated irrespective of the fact whatever country is written by the select query. I will not take care of that thing. It will override only your California state folder based on the output of this query, irrespective of the fact whichever is the country written by this query. It will assume the country is CA and the state is country is US and the state is CA, and it will update that partition. So if you are sure that what you are returning from your blow query or inserting up, you could have used the static partitioning. Otherwise, you could have used the dynamic partitioning. So by default, the dynamic partition is disabled in Hive, and you have to enable it by setting up a few things. So this is an example where we are using one static partitioning and one dynamic partitioning, and to ensure that the data of US only is returned from the blow query, we have used the where clause in the blow query. So now I'm unsure that the data which is returned from my blow query is only for country US. So in that case, I could have I am able to use the static partitioning for the country, however the dynamic partitioning for the state. It's too quite. I think it's much easy. It's easy normal. I hope it's not. It's clear, right?
It's clear.
Okay, sure. So these are the parameters which you have to set up to enable the dynamic partitioning. By default, it's not enabled. So when you will try to run this query, it will give you an error. The dynamic partitioning is disabled. So you have to set up few parameters. Again, set and the corresponding parameter name. Hive execute dynamic partitioning and partitioning mode. So these things you have to set up to enable the dynamic partitioning. So here I am creating a table dynamically. What I am doing is create table. I am giving some table name as select from other query. So this table will be created based on the output of the select query. So this is the kind of dynamic table which is created on the fly for you. Although the table would have, yeah, go ahead.
But this will be not an external table. It will always be an internal table, right?
Yeah, this is an enter table which is created over here.
Okay.
You could have given the query something like this: create external table employees location so and so as select from as select clause. So in that case, that will be an external table. Here I have to give something like this: location, my location, and this will create an external table also.
Okay.
So insert override local directory. So if I just want to export the data from some table or do something, I could use something like this also. I'm overriding a local directory at this location and exporting the data from this table. Override will override it. Otherwise, I could have appended it also.
So can you explain that select overwrite again? Sorry, insert overwrite again. What was that doing? Local directory?
Local directory. So it's overwriting whatever is written in your local directory, that is temp/cm employees, with the output of the select query.
Okay, so it can modify the local directory as well as part of a Hive query. Okay.
Yes. So so these are different flavors. There are a lot of flavors. I just captured some of the flavors of different queries. But if you Google up based on your requirement, you will find out a lot of other flavors also. But I'm just
because this query is interesting because it's not doing anything in Hive itself. It's actually working on the local file directly.
No. It's not working on the local file. It's doing in Hive only. It's reading your SGMS file system only. But the output of that query is stored for you in some local directory.
Okay.
Insert override. That is, I'm overwriting this local directory with the output of the select query.
Okay.
So what is this? Nested select, similar to your other queries, I'm just doing nested select. So selecting from some table, I'm giving this table, I've given this table name as E, and now the same table is joined with the same table. So this is kind of nested select query. Anything you want to ask about it? It's pretty simple, it's normal query. Case is how you give case statements in Hive. Case when, when, then, else, and. Normal group by having clause, where group by so and so thing, having so and so thing, group by so and so, and whatsoever you are doing group by, that only is you can select it, or you can give some aggregate functions on the other columns. That is all everyone knows, right? So right now what I've shared with you is Hive 0.12, 0.12, yes, Hive 0.12 probably, yes. But in Hive 0.14, if you want, I can share that VM also, which are Hive 0.14. So there you can write your queries the way you write, the way it's more easier for you, something like this, from stocks, comma, dividend table, something like this. But right now with Hive 0.12, you have to use joins only. It will not work from table A, comma table B. It does not work. So you have to use joins only, inner joins, outer join, left outer join, full outer joins kind of thing. With 0.14, you can give it same way, table A, comma table B, comma table C, where A dot something is equal to B dot something, and B dot something is equal to B dot something. So I'm doing a join in between two tables from the stock table and joining again with the stock table, inner join, based on year and symbol. Okay, join optimization. Okay, before that, let me show you all left and outer join, then I'll talk about the join optimizations. So same way what you do over there in your SQL Word, left outer join and right outer join, there is a syntax, and the second table on the corresponding criteria. And if I have to give some where clause, Okay. So when you are joining 3 or more tables, and if on clause is using the same join key, a single MapReduce job will be created for you. So say I am doing join stock with the stock table again, based on a.ymd equals to b.ymd, and again joining the stock table third time, and for 3 different symbols. So in that case, a single MapReduce job will be created up because the same key is shared across. So this is a thing which you can think of while. Although that, if I talk about optimizing joins, it requires advanced MapReduce understanding. I'll not be going into those things, but I've just covered few of the join optimizations. But there are a lot of join optimizations which you can do when you are doing bucket level joining, when you are doing different joins. I've not covered those things over here. I've just covered few of the join optimizations over here.
Hey, it's been a long time since I ran some queries like left outer join or right outer join. So just to be clear, left outer join will include all the data from the left side of the table, right?
Sure, Karthik, 1 second. I'll explain that part also. Just give me a second. Let me finish it, and then I explain that thing also.
Sure.
Okay. So this is the first thing which I want to tell you. Second thing is use a smaller table first in the join. So if I say select something from big table, join a small table on some criteria where something, this would run slower as compared to select from small table, join big table on some criteria. And how and why? Because I have assumed the last table is the largest in the query, it attempts to buffer the other table and screen the last table. So it will buffer the other table and then screen the last table while performing the end-user records. Because when you are joining some 2 tables, all the records from one table need to be joined with all the records of other table. So I try to buffer something and try to screen something to do all the cross joins. So this is the optimization which you can do, or you can give hint by using this keyword streamable. So this will tell you what need to be streamed. Okay, so to your point, this makes sense, right? Why it would be fast? One thing.
Yes, but this query is, I think, for 0.14, right?
No, this query is for 0.02, indeed lower than that also. This is just a hint which I'm giving to the query.
Okay.
Here I'm using join only.
Okay.
So the left outer join, the right outer join, full joins. So say I have a table A and table B, and table A has ID and name. Table B also has ID and say class. So 1, 2, 3. This has 2, 4. Analytics. So when I do inner join, then this row would be this row would be joined up with this row, and nothing else will be joined, and I'll get in one join. So when I say query something like this, select star from A inner join B on A.id is equals to B.id. I would get this as an output, but I have highlighted right now green in the color on the screen. And now if I say left outer join, in that case everything from the left would be selected up, but right only those what are mapping with the left. So what I'll get is 1, 2, 3, and from here 2, and the data would look something like this. The output would look something like this. And null and null. This will be the output. And when I say right outer join, these 2 would be there, and 2 would be joined with the Rohit, and 4 will come null over here.
Yeah, that's just, I understood that, but that's what I was just confirming it. So.
Yeah, sure. I think so. Yeah, it's a long time for people like us.
Yeah, I know.
And if I gave full outer join, everything would be there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows and corresponding nulls. Sure. Okay. So you can also create indexes, but I suggest you never to use indexes in Hive. You can achieve great performance by partitioning and bucketing your data. Indexing would just create overhead on your system. The indexes give you beautiful, beautiful search results on your traditional system, but over here indexes are again stored as separate tables in the same file system. So indexes practically I've seen they do not give great performance benefit as compared to the overhead which you have to do with maintaining of the indexes. If you properly bucket and partition your data, you could achieve great performance benefit. Also, you have to optimize the queries based on the joins which you're running up, and that would make up your queries much faster as compared to creating indexes on the tables. But this is how you can create index on the table, partition by so and so. So over here I'm creating an index on this table. Sorry. So over here I'm creating an index on this table, and using this handler to create index. I could create my own custom handlers also, but this is the default one which is available, which is being used over here. With deferred rebuild means right now it's not building up, that rebuild is deferred, and I can create it by what do you call it? I don't remember syntax right now. That simple and syntax I don't remember right now. I'll show you. So you can create this. You can create the syntax. So this is a table on which I created the syntax with default rebuild, and I can build it by build syntax or something there. And I'll show you. I don't remember it right now by heart. Any questions on this? I think this is all from the Hive part. Any questions on this?
No.
Okay, so let me show you the UDF also, and then let's try to run some queries on Hive so that you also get little hands on. So let me show you a UDF. So this is what I've created as a UDF. So I've extended the UDF. I've executed UDF, and what I'm doing over here is there's something called you would have used a lot many times incrementers in your SQL world. So whenever you are inserting new record, you get some unique primary key for the table, but nothing like this is available in Hive. So I've created this UDF which will create a unique number for you whenever you are inserting some record into your table. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I've extended this UDF, and what I'm doing is I'm using three things: IP address of the node. Can anyone guess why I've commented that code right now, but can anyone think of why I've used IP address over here? Because if there are 20 or 50 nodes in the cluster and this UDF would be triggered on each node, so in that case IP address will also be unique for each node. So I'm using IP address, random, some random number, and timestamp also somewhere. Timestamp, time. So timestamp in millisecond, some random number, and the IP address. So I'm combining these three things, and I'm using this to create a unique number for each record which is inserted into the table. So how to use this UDF? So this is a function which I have used. Evaluate is a function which you have to override up. So this overridden function would be used somewhere like this. So I've created the jar for this same way, Maven jar, and then what I'm doing is I have added that jar to the Hive class path. So by giving command add jar and the jar location. This jar could be on your local file system also. In that case, you don't have to give this HDFS part. Then I'm creating a function. I'm giving some name to this function and giving the fully qualified class name, which is a class referred in this jar. And then I'm using this get key function. So I am using stocks. Okay, so this is a table which I've created, which has key as one of the column, and while inserting into this table, I'm doing select get key as a function which I'm calling up each time and other data from the stocks table. So whenever the data is inserted into this table, a unique key is also given to the data, which could be used as a you know, I could have used it at n number of things. So this is how you can create your UDFs. You can create your UDFs in other languages also, but there also you have to just add your code as add jar and use this thing to create a function, and then you can use it directly. And there are other functions in the Hive itself. You could use average and things like that. So here I could use average price. So if I've done subgroup by and string functions, concat functions, and all this is a huge list of functions. I think show function or something like this there. Function or function, something like this. It's functions, I'm not sure. Yeah. So see, these are different functions available for you. You can just Google up and you will get all the help for these functions. So reverse are like upper, next timestamp, different functions available. You can add your own functions also, and yeah, that's all. So let's do one thing. We have time. We have indeed 1 hour, more than 1 hour indeed. So let's try to run some Hive queries. So I have shared one Hive exercise with you people before the class on your drive. If you can quickly download that PDF as well as the data set, let's try to run some simple queries so that you get a little idea of this whole thing. And I will have the PPT also so that you have the syntax also. So does everyone has that drive had looked into that problem statement of Hive?
No, we are doing it now.
Okay, sure. You can download it and let's look into that. Try to run it, and if you are facing any problem, I'll help you out. And by the time you are opening up, I'll bring a glass of water for me. Hi everyone, I'm back. Are you able to download it?
Yes, I have downloaded.
Okay, sure. So that contains a public statement about Hive. I also don't remember it by now. I think there were two tables which need to be created, something like this was there. Understanding. Yeah, there are two CSV files, and we have to just try to run some queries on the data, and that will give you some idea. And at the end, I'll also try to bucket and partition the data before joining up to make your query much faster. So just try to create a table first on for these two CSVs, and then we'll do some then create a join, and before that you have to load the data into SDFS also. And also ensure if your CSVs have header, you have to remove them, because this is just the data, and the data which you might be getting up in your cluster might be in some fashion which you have to filter up or clear up prior loading it into the table. So this CSVs might be having headers. So if the headers are there, you have to remove them prior importing them to the Hive tables.
So we have to manually remove them. There is no command to do that automatically in Hive.
No, in Hive you can't. Hive is just Hive is just a meta store for you that just contain the metadata about your data.
Okay.
But you can VI it. You can run a Unix command to remove the head file, head1, -1, or anything. But you have to do it somehow. Hi, Basha.
Oh, I'm Raj. Sorry, I had a big party last night. Just woke up.
Okay. Um, so no problem. So Basha, we have just covered the Hive thing, and
Okay, that's fine.
just a minute back we have started looking into the assignment of Hive. So
Okay.
if you check your email, there's one Hive
Hive
statement,
exercise.
yeah, which I've shared. So all the based on the yesterday's knowledge which you have got, you would be able to do that.
Okay.
And still, if you face issues, I am here to help all of you.
Okay, sure.
Just have a
Oh,
look.
yeah, I'm looking at this. Am I supposed to do this exercise now?
Yeah, everyone is doing it right now, so that if you people face some issues, we can help you, and that will also give you some hands-on also. MapReduce I did not show, but interest
Okay.
because you won't be using MapReduce much. But Hive and Pig people would be using a lot. So just try to practice these two things. Rest all is not
Okay.
used in the industry, but Hive and Pig are highly used in the industry.
I want to. Okay, sure.
Hey, Miraj, did you share the PPT yesterday of the SQL syntax and things like that?
Yeah, there's a PPT for Hive in the same shared PPT folder.
Okay, the code, right? In the code.
Not in the code. There's this folder called PPTs which I've shared with the people where all the PPTs are there till date.
Okay. Yeah, Hadoop Hive, right?
No, any success with anyone?
Still working.
No. So
So what is the port number for this Hive interface? Is it 8000? Hello?
sorry, I was speaking on mute. You can go to the 8,000. That is a Hive interface. Then you can go to the Hive interface.
Okay, yeah,
But
8000.
Are you trying to transfer the files, Pasha? If you are transferring the files, it should be 2222, right?
if you are transferring the file with the help of WinSP or something, you can you have to use 2222.
Yeah, first I want to see what files are there, and then I would like to upload or transfer them.
Yeah, and if when you are opening these files, these are CSV files with Excel or something. Do not save them, otherwise Excel will change the format of dates and things like that. And then while loading it, you might get some errors.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I opened it just to see what are the contents there.
can put these two files CSV as it is into the Hadoop file system, right? Like,
Yes, you have to put it into Hadoop file system.
and then we can use that as the location of create table to create a table to store this record in the Hive. Right?
And you, sorry, then you have to.
Okay. Basically, first I did is I put these two files into the Hadoop file system by doing the dash put option, and these two files are now I can see under the user hue and then some locations.
Yeah, sure.
So I use that location by create table command of Hive, and I can create an external or internal table based on the location.
Yes.
I can give a delimiter as comma because
Yes.
it's a CSV file,
Yes.
right? And that would be a table creation, right?
Yes.
And after that, I had to do the join, right? I think
Yes.
that will be the first step, I think. Is that
Yes, the first step is for putting the files in the proper execute location. So getting in the data for getting the data ready, then creating the metadata for the data, and then using that metadata to get the output.
the metadata is basically done in the create table itself.
Yeah.
Create table,
Yeah.
just like you did /A/B and /C, the control A, control B, control C kind of sample, right? Like yesterday.
Yes, yes. So you have to use just instead of that comma as a separator. And right now we don't have maps or
The delimiter is open.
yeah, and right now we don't have maps and stuff. So you can you can just use the delimiter only for your what do you call it? Delimiter only for the fields terminated by. You can skip other things. Oh.
Hi, Miraj.
Hi.
I transferred those two files, CSV files to Hadoop FS,
Uh-huh.
but when I try to create a new table from a file using the UI, it says it cannot find the file.
From the UI means?
Yeah, from the UI means.
So first thing, okay, I'll just come to you. I'll just look at your desktop. But first thing, whenever you are creating a table, always try to create a table on a folder and put all your files inside the folder. Practically your table is pointing to some folder. So that is the first thing. And what is the problem you are getting right now? Let me have a look. I will give you a controller, right? So.
Okay.
The presenter, let me look at the problem, but always gives a folder as the directory of the file.
Oh, okay. I did not create the folder. Maybe that's why.
Sure, I think that could be.
But okay, let me see if I can create a folder and move around files there.
So all you have to do is Hadoop FS minus mkdir, or you can use the UI also.
Yeah. Minus mkdir.
Hey, Miraj.
Yeah.
I created the create table command using all the columns and all the types correctly, but I used a string for the
Okay.
column sum of the.
Yeah, for string actually, okay, just a minute. You have to use varchar rather than a string. So, but the string
Okay,
is
because
string, but
the
string is available with
PowerPoints. So I use the
1.4.
PowerPoint as my reference.
Okay. Now, I think you are using 1.2. String will work. String will work.
But I'm getting a parse exception. It's saying when I run the command, it says failed parse exception line 415 and cannot recognize input near order priority string in column type.
Okay. 1.2, your high version is 1.2. Which what is the Hortonbox box which I've shared with you? Is this 2.1?
How do I find that?
Just on top of your where it starts with the virtual machine, top it would be showing something Hortonworks sandbox, 2.1 or 2.2 something running up.
Yeah, it is saying 2.1.
2.1 string works. String works in 2.1. 1 minute, let me have a look.
So should I change it to varchar and try it?
Yeah, varchar will work, but string also works up. Right now, as yesterday, if you can recall, I deleted everything. So I was also creating those tables. I just ran it with the string only.
Actually, you know what? String works because I created the returns table. It worked fine with string.
Yeah. Then I think some mistake. Show me the UI.
Okay. So this is how I created in local textpad. I created the table. Okay. With so this is the line 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure. This is the line number it is clipping about. Okay. Let me show you the hive. This is my hive. Let me run the command again. Copy that.
So it's not scribbling on the string probably. I think it's scribbling on the date. Date. Yes.
Okay.
Use timestamp.
Timestamp.
Yeah.
Okay, but the presentation, I mean, PPT has a date. In
date
one
also.
Of the,
yeah. So date is also there. Timestamp is also there. But again, the date, one of them was introduced in the later version. I'll just cross check which one was. I'll just cross check.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. Okay, let me copy that and see if that works. It's again failing.
Okay, it's not failing because of that. One thing you do, go back to your notepad or what was it? Yeah. And firstly remove these, spaces because that is also creates a problem. Just remove these spaces while copying this creates a problem. But if you're using it directly file, that will not be a problem. But when copying
sorry, which spaces are you talking about?
So right now type Shift and Tab on your keyboard. Shift and Tab.
Shift Enter.
Shift Tab TAB, not Enter. Control Z.
Sorry.
Select it again, everything.
Okay.
Shift and Tab Tab.
Tab, okay.
Yeah. Now copy it and again show me the error.
Okay. Yep. Again.
Not a viable exception. There's something else which you are missing up. Fields terminated by comma, lines terminated by /n.
No, actually it is still showing us no space.
Cannot recognize input near comma, order priority string. Okay, show me that again. Order priority.
There is a space.
Yeah, the space is fine. Yeah, space is fine. Date also works in this. I just cross check. Date is also work.
There was a tab somewhere. Okay.
No, that is not a problem. That is not a problem.
Okay.
Create external table, row ID, order priority string. Cannot recognize comma, order priority string.
Let me try one more time.
Then I think you copied some illegal character was there. That there was no that tab or space is not a problem. You give tab ID.
Okay, I think I copied like this with last line also, empty line.
There was some non-unix character which was there. The string or the tab and space is not a problem.
No, it is working now. I don't know why.
There was some
tab. I think. Yeah, so I corrected some tabs.
Tab is not a problem. If you give tab, that will work. That is not the problem.
That was the only thing I changed. I modified the tabs.
Yeah, I can see that, but there would have been some other illegal character. Tab works. Tab, enter, anything would work, probably.
Okay. All right.
Let me cross check again if you are creating a doubt. Tab. Okay, I have given 2 tabs. Let me try.
Tab.
Draw table superstore sales, and I've given 2 tabs instead of 1. Let's try again. cannot recognize double slash and shipping cost. Shipping cost. Strange. Tab is not working.
Is it the tab?
Yeah, tab is not working. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. I might not have seen that. The tab is not working. But yeah, we have a lot of files. I'll cross check in my production files. There's nowhere the tab. I'll cross check that part.
Okay. Okay, so I have created the table. So let's see what's there in the text.
So now do a select and then you will see whether your table is really created or not. First try to do a select or something on the table.
Okay. From what was the table? Table name.
Store underscore sales.
Stores. Yeah.
Yep, you got it. It's working fine then. Now you have to just create another table which is a smaller one.
So Miraj, just one question. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So when we create a table from using this Hive UI, do we have to enter every column name manually, or can it pick up the header?
So Basha, it cannot pick up the header. You have to give it, but in the page you can use dynamic columns.
Okay.
In Hive, there's nothing like dynamic columns. You have to create whole metadata. But there's a way. After you do this exercise, I'll tell you one way how you could do it easily. But I'm not telling you before that because I want you to understand that this is another thing. After you do this exercise, I'll tell you another easier way where you don't have to do all that big thing. What you're doing right now. If you want the syntax, I can ping it on the chat window. For all the columns, it would be something like this. I'll ping.
No. Let me start with the. No, it's okay. Let me start with basics. I was just wondering.
Yeah, there's a way. Sure.
Headers are already there. Why can't it pick it up automatically?
So it will pick it up. I'll show you how to get it picked up. But try to do it this way. Then I'll show you how to do it that way. These are the columns.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so am I still sharing?
Yeah, your screen is still shared and it's running up. I did not. You did a select a start from table, inner join, return on or. Yep.
Sorry, yeah, I got the data back. So yeah, I just did a simple inner join with column IDs.
So you got all the customers who have returned their order,
which has an entry in the order status returns.
But the customer's data is duplicated n number of times if they have written n number of orders. So you have to do a
right. So let me just refine that. Start from order sales as returns first table. That way it's good. Inner join sales. Where on a dot order ID equals b dot order ID. Okay, so now comes the second part. Where
group by also.
Yeah, group by the customer name. Okay, group by what is the column name of that? Group by customer name. Okay, and then what else? Not just the customer name, it has to be by province and blah blah. Okay, but yeah, let's do this. B dot customer name. Oops. What was the statement? Problem statement? Descending order by number of returned orders By at customer. Okay, so number of returned orders. Okay, so we have to group by and also count star. Okay, ascending by the customer name. Okay.
Any success when anyone else? Umesh, Rajesh, I did not heard back anything from you.
I cannot share the screen because I'm doing it in my laptop on my the one that actually had it because I had some problem yesterday. But I tried to do that create second table, which is creates sales return. So basically, what I did is I wrote in a text pad like a .sql file, and then I put that in the Hadoop file system, and I run hive-e.sql file. That should execute.
Hive minus F.
Oh, hive minus F, okay.
Yeah, E is to execute any query directly which you are giving it directly over there. Minus F is the file option.
Hive minus F and then the file. Okay. Let's see if it works.
And Karthik, you can give the count star column as some name, and so that you can make it sorted by the another column also. As no, yeah, you can count it by anything, one or anything star. As, yeah, anything, any name. Not the count. Count is a keyword. Something else. And now you can sort by.
Sorted by count.
Not sorted by, order by.
Sorry, order by. Order by. Order by count has the descending, right? So the number.
Yes.
And customer name.
Yeah. That gives your output.
Okay.
Ascending is by default, so you don't have to give it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What does it mean? Not viable alt exception.
Okay.
Table row format.
So Umesh, I think you also did the same thing. You have between the column name and the column tab, you also might have given some tabs. So remove the tabs. Give it space.
Okay. So. So you said between what? Column name and the types?
So,
don't give
Umesh, I had the same problem between the name of the column and then the type of the column. If there are some tabs, remove those tabs and give a space.
Okay. I don't remember putting any tabs. Okay, let me try that.
or you can give some join me ID. I can have a look at your screen.
Raj, I started my join me. It's 788
1 minute.
182.
1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Let me open the join me. Yeah, 788
788 182 847.
2847.
847.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
You can see my screen. So basically, I have this. This is
Show, 1 minute, what is there? Parse cannot recognize input in a row format delimited in the table of format. Okay, show me the table, this create table command.
create external table if not exists. Return order ID.
Order ID int status worker 100 row format delimited field submitted by comma. This single quotes could you try it to delete and then print again? Just go to the go to the end of the file, and the single quotes is the single quote which is near to your enter, right?
Yeah, that one, comma, that one. Right?
And the first one also? And the first one also? Not the I mean to say which was just prefixed by comma.
Yeah, I modified that, right? Okay. That's what I modified.
Okay.
And I'll remove that also.
Okay.
And you're saying there's no tab here, so space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Good. So.
Yeah. I minus F.
Yeah. Hi, my son is here, so. Hi, dash F.
Yeah. Cannot recognize input near row format limited in the table. Row format limited in the table, row format. And I think row format delimited, the spelling is correct, right? Row format delimited. Row format DLIM. Delimited spelling is wrong. Delimited spelling. DLIMITED. MITED.
Yeah,
It's case insensitive, so that's not a problem. If you give capital or small, that will work.
okay. Let's try that now. The exception message is not, it should have said like delimited not recognized or something.
These all are evolving technologies. The cutting edge technologies recently been developed. So they are more focused on user friendly rather than user friendliness. They are more focused on making it more robust and things like that.
So I can just run select.
Yeah.
Star from
this table.
Is it underscore?
Yeah. So Karthik, I think is all done. He was able to get the output. Basha?
Yeah, no, I'm still creating the table.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little bit behind on this, so I'll catch up.
Normal. So
CS underscore it. Okay.
So, Karthik, why don't you try to now? Umesh, could you please go mute?
No, sorry.
Thank you. So, Karthik, why don't you try to now to bucket and partition it, and you can see that reference when you are doing the join. So by the time you people are creating that, let me show you the easier way now how to where is my control gone? Okay, here it is. So Karthik, I'm taking away the control from you, and so let me also show you the easier way. So as I told you, hcatalog is a meta-store repository. So here you can create a table from a file, but although when you are getting big files, this option will not work. But for the just for the development purpose and things like that. Yeah, Karthik, I think you have some audio issues now. I was also not able to hear you, but I hope everyone else can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear it.
And I hope, Karthik, you can also hear me at least. So what I was saying is the easier way is you can create a table directly from the file from this hcatalog UI. So create a new table from a file, and all I have to do is just choose a file. So if I say select Superstore sales, and it has automatically directed the column type, column names from my table, order ID, order name, priority, and things like that. And all I have to do is just create table, and it will create the table for me. But practically, when you are getting gigabytes or terabytes of file, this option will not work. But for smaller files like this, you could have used this option. But I did not told you, otherwise you would not have gotten the complexities of moving the file into SGFS and understanding the things. So Basha, now you can use it if you are still in a process of doing the table creation.
Yes, I will use this. Manually entering column names.
I already sent you the column names anyhow. You could have copied that on the chat window. And when you're running the jobs, you can browse your jobs from over here, job browser. So this is, I just created this table and then ran that same query. So these are the jobs available to me. I can look at the logs over here.
So how did you get to that screen? Sorry, the previous one? Create table.
hcatalog. Click on the hcatalog. Select your database, corresponding database. Yeah. Select your corresponding database and create a new table from a file.
Oh, I see. Okay.
This is more handy. I am doing the second one with the importing the data into the.
This is handy, but this will not take you the complexities of moving the file to SDFS and where the SDFS file system and all those things. Practically, you will be using all those things.
Right.
So that's the reason I at the first go
Does it create what type of table is going to create? Is it going to create maybe the internal, right? Like
so actually, actually, you know, the things in the term of file system. When you as a user has copied some file, you as a user has the right on that file. When Hive is creating some file, Hive is write or delete right on the file. So the table would be created as if you are pointing the file to be created, a table to be created on that file. That table is treated as an external table only because Hive do not have delete permissions on practically not on the file system. Do not have delete permissions on that file. So I will never delete that file for you, even if you drop the table.
Okay, so when I create from the H catalog, the data would not be deleted even if I drop the table.
Yes, yes. Data would always be there because that data is some other user has created the data, not the Hive has created the data. Hive as a user.
Okay.
So we don't need to import data, right? When you create a table, do I have to?
You have to just browse the data. Create a table and browse on which file you are going to create the data.
It'll do both in one step. That's what I see. It's kind of like imported the data after creating the table. So okay, I think the next step is to run the query. Okay.
So, Karthik, I hope you are able to bucket or data, partition your data, right?
So I have not tried bucketing. I am trying to partition.
Partition, yeah. So over here, I was able to see your half of the query. Then I switched away. Yeah, you were using it, right? And in this scenario, yeah, bucketing will also make it little faster because your files would be divided based on the customer name as a bucket. So while joining up, you would be joining smaller files, and that would again run faster because both the files could be streamed up.
Okay.
But what you were doing was good because orders data would be coming up each day. If you are working on some sales store data, order data would be coming up each day, and you were partitioning it based on order date and a few more things. And that is I think was the correct step which you were doing as the designing part.
Okay.
So when you say merge two tables based on the order ID, basically you're doing a join of the two tables with the order ID.
Yes.
And list out all the customers who's returning orders. What does it mean? Like because will there be some?
So if you look at
the order, right? Like
so if you look at the return or CSV, that contains the customer who has returned my orders back due to some different reasons. So I'm just looking at the bad customers.
Okay,
so I'm just trying to figure out the bad customers, and I might take some actions on those bad customers.
So basically, you're doing a join between the order ID and say the status is basically the whole table actually is returned.
But that table can contain some other records also, so it's better to put in the where clause where a status is returned.
Yeah. Right. Somebody is hitting the keyboard really hard. Is it Karthik?
I was not hitting. I was taking.
Yeah, because I have my the headset on my ears and I can really feel it.
Sorry.
Yeah, his query is not working, so what can he do?
His query already now is running an advanced query.
No, I know that because Karthik, when he gives training, I know that he's really, onto the keyboard. So.
But it's pretty easy, right? That Hive is pretty easy. So you can think of the complexity if you have to do in the Java code. What all Java code you should have written for this, just a small thing. So this has made the life pretty easy for you on the file system. And the learning curve was very, very fast because everyone is acquainted with SQL kind of syntax. So business users can directly use it if you create all the backend work, or if you are also working as a data scientist, you can pretty easily use it. So I am working for one of the biggest e-retailers in the world. By biggest, I really mean it's one of the biggest only. And each day data processing which we do, 90% of the jobs are done with the help of Hive only. More than 90% of our jobs are done with Hive only. At some places we are using Pig, and some places we are using the hardcode and MapReduce. For doing this batch analysis. For other things we are doing n number of other things also. But for this batch processing Hadoop thing, approximately 90+% of our jobs are done with Hive only.
So when you say the biggest retailer, is it online retailer or is it
online
okay
in the world?
Mm-hmm.
So we convert the unstructured data to structured before using Hive. So that kind of things are done with other technologies. But when the data is structured, Hive is the best tool to real queries and the batch processing fashion. If you have to do the real-time streaming, then we have to think of Spark or Storm, things like that. Indeed, you can integrate R and things like that with Hive and with the help of R Hadoop or R Hive, and you can run your mathematical analysis, or do data analysis, predictive analysis, machine learning on the data. If any one of you have interest in analytics, then you can look into R.
Yeah, R is nice.
Yeah. So data science. These are our top courses which people are using these days. R analytics and Hadoop. These are the top courses which US people are joining these days.
Where is this query editor?
Which query editor?
The Hive SQL query editor. I saw it somewhere on the UI.
Second button on the top of the UI, yellow color, dragon.
Hive UI. Okay.
Dragon. So here, if you want to add the jars and things like that, you can, right on the left hand side, there's an option to add, and then use those things as the functions in the query.
Okay.
So H catalog stands for Hive catalog or Hadoop catalog?
Good question. I never heard the full form of this thing, but H catalog now does not exist as a separate product from Apache. This is merged with Hive, and this contains the real metadata, which we are creating in create tables kind of thing.
Okay.
H catalog, I think I never heard the full form. It's actually called H catalog only. Catalog.
Yeah, since it's tightly integrated with Hive, I think it's Hive catalog. Okay.
I doubt it's Hive catalog. Might be, but I never heard the full form of this guy. So let me cross check. Because previously now they're integrated, but prior to that they were separate projects only. So, and the H catalog name is there. Prior it's integrated or tightly integrated with Hive. The wiki is everything is gone now. It's all merged with Hive only.
Yeah, I think it is Hive. It is nothing.
Old H catalog wiki page. I never heard any full form. Might be Hive, might be something else.
Or could be H-based catalog. Okay.
Not H-based catalog. H-based is totally a different thing. H-based is NoSQL database. So NoSQL database is also in high demand or high usage these days, and I hope you understand the benefits of them. Although they also give you, so based on a requirement, you might be choosing H-base or Cassandra also to push in your data and use that for data processing rather than Hadoop. So again, you have to choose the things precisely. So nowadays people are using combination like Cassandra with Spark. So putting in their data in the Cassandra and using a Spark for real-time processing of the data. So this is one thing which I see a lot of few of the guys are doing.
I ran the SQL, so the output should be coming. Okay, it's actually return to the file. Okay, I see it's actually returned to some file system, right? The output.
I'm not sure how you ran it.
My screen.
Okay, I have not looked at that.
Look at my screen.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay.
I just write either star from sales return join sales B on order ID
one sec. I have to. Yeah. So what is it? What you did? Hive minus C select something from something. Right. And this does not did anything. So your query did not return anything. So there's some problem with your query or the data. Is the data loaded into the table?
Yeah, so if you look at my data here, so where is my data? Now this one, right?
Yeah.
So
You can just say browse data, browse data.
look at
Browse
browse
data.
data. Maybe it's case sensitive or
No, no, it's not case
okay,
sensitive.
this is all data.
This is the data and your order ID and sure. And the data of the other table is also visible. Yes, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
If you click on the tables on top, you will be able to see. Tables on the top.
Which one? Oh yeah, tables. So sales return we saw, right? Sales
Yeah,
return.
sales. Yeah, click on the sales browse data right inside green button. Sales browse data. Sales, not sales. Sales data we have just saw. Sales.
The sales return should be, I think my query says A dot status. I think A dot status is sales return, right? Yeah, sales return is a smaller table. So I'm saying returned. So did we see that? I think I saw something else. Let's see. Okay, this is sales return. Sales return actually has order ID and
No, what is this?
status is number. How come it's getting all this?
How you imported it? What you did? I don't know. What you did? I don't know.
So I just gave the
Import,
SQL before, right? This one.
imported the CSV. But
No, this is what I'm. No, this is actually I'm doing it right now. It was like this, right?
yeah, and
It was like.
show me the CSV file which you input.
Okay. I think I gave a wrong CSV file.
Yeah, because I think you gave the same CSV file over here also, and it has loaded only 2 columns.
I gave only you're right. So basically, I gave a sales for sales return. So I can just overwrite this one with my.
You can just alter the table or drop the table and recreate the same table. It will.
I can do it from the view also here from the text catalog. I can do it.
Yeah, just select the table and drop top.
Drop. Yeah, first I thought of doing the sales table and then because it's a big number of columns was more, thought of doing a smaller table first. Okay, so
Choose a finance. So what about others? Basha, any success?
No.
No. Okay. So do you people want me to share the syntax or the query, or you will try?
No. Let me try on my own. I will try.
Sure. And Karthik, I think you were able to do the partition and things like that.
Yes.
Okay. So you can try it out. In the next class, we'll be looking into the pig. Pig is a scripting language and similar to Hive, it's also very easy. You have to just remember some of the syntaxes. Here is the Haskell syntax, but there's a scripting language, so there are few syntaxes related to pig, but it's pretty easy. And that is also used highly in the industry to do the data processing, and pretty easy for load such kind of any unstructured data or such structured data also, and dynamic column generation. So like over here you gave 10 column names. In the pig you could have loaded the CSV without giving a single column name, and you could have referred the nth column by $1, $2 kind of things. So that's pretty easy. And then we will be looking into Hadoop streaming. So either we'll look into the pig or Hadoop streaming, anything in the next class. And streaming will give you an advantage if you are not familiar with Java, or if you are more acquainted with things like PHP or any of the scripting language. So you can write your MapReduce code in the scripting language and can run the whole MapReduce paradigm with the help of any scripting language.
Okay. So when will you be going over the Uzi workflows and?
So that will make sense once we cover all these things. So all these things can be staged into a workflow called Uzi. So Uzi workflow would be our second last class. Before that, we'll cover the scoop part, how to import in the data. And once we look into all of these things, then it will make sense to stage them with the help of workflow like Uzi.
Okay. So out of the topic, so quick question about the certification. So have you taken certification, and what are the topics they usually cover in the certification?
From Cloudera or Hortonworks?
So there are separate certifications?
Yeah, there are certifications from different people. You are talking about certification from Design Pathshala or from Cloudera or Hortonworks? Which certification you are talking about right now?
I'm talking about the Cloudera.
Cloudera. So if you look at the Cloudera website, there are again different certifications like developer, admin, developer also. There are a few others, and they have changed it recently also, if I can recall. Cloudera. Cloudera certification. Cloudera. So there are, I think, 3 or 4. Just a minute. Yeah, data scientist is the thing which then they have Hadoop developer. I think you are targeting the Hadoop developer CST, right?
Yes.
So that I would say what I'm covering up, all the things are what is there in the CCSG certification, including MapReduce, Hive, and Pig. So most of the things are I'm covering about the certification in this in our classes.
Okay. And how does the Horton, is it different or is it similar, the same certification?
Hortonworks also have 3 or 4 flavors, almost similar, but they have segregated this MapReduce with Hive and Pig as a separate thing, because people with Java, with not knowledge of Java, it's difficult for them to. They have segregated these things into 2. Recently they have merged it, I'm not sure. So, but the difference between Cloudera and Hortonworks is, although Cloudera is more marketed them and is a little bit more fancy as a keyword as compared to Hortonworks, but in the real industry use cases, if you look at people are more using Hortonworks because of different reasons. And the first and the foremost reason, as I told you in the class, it's almost 100% open source Hortonworks, but Cloudera is not 100% open source as Hortonworks, and the things like Impala from Cloudera are totally not open source. So that's the reason people prefer using Hortonworks because of they're highly aligned with the Apache open source version.
Okay, so which one do you use in your company, like Hadoop? I'm sorry, Cloudera or
Hortonworks. We are using Hortonworks.
Okay.
But you would find people starting Hadoop and things like that. People are more familiar with or hired Cloudera more because Google search is also written Cloudera more, and they are more marketed to the company. But Hortonworks is also, so Cloudera and Hortonworks are highly used. But the advantage is Hortonworks is open source, and then the MapR is there as I discussed in the first class. But MapR is still with Hadoop.x, and they are more, stringent on the stable architecture, and they have little bit changed the things like Greenplum or data lake and things like that. But I would not suggest you to go with MapR because the customers of MapR is very less as compared to Cloudera or Hortonworks, and that would not much beneficial to you as compared to Cloudera or Hortonworks. You can target any one of them; both are almost similar. as a complexity wise they are again all almost similar. You can target any one of them, but don't go with MapR.
Okay.
So Miraj, so I got the results for the the run. So you said like partition, right? You basically want it to be partitioned like by altering the existing table by adding partitions.
Yeah. You can alter that. You can alter.
So similar to like the one that you like alter table, and then you can do a clustered by, and then you can give the partition also in there, right?
Clustered by will bucket it. Partition will partition it.
Yeah.
Partition.
Okay. So
you can try that part. So just try that part. If you still face issues, do let me know. I'll again help you. Not wrong, or you can directly drop me an email also.
sure.
Anything else anyone want to ask before we wind up for the day? No. Sure. Okay, then thanks everyone for your time. Have a nice day. Let's meet next weekend.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.